everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. Welcome. This is Power Hour. This is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. So glad that you're here. So we're going to do something just a little different today. Yes, this is a power class and it is a vinyasa class. So we'll be moving, flowing with breath. But we're going to take things a little slower. I'm calling this class Take It Easy. So we're going to go through some of the basic poses that I almost always do in a power class. We're just going to go much slower. We're going to be holding some postures too, just to really get into the full essence of each pose. And actually, it's a good exercise for being in the moment, staying clear and connected and grounded. So here's some props that you may want to use. Now, first of all, you can probably see I have my chair right here. I'm going to move it out of frame in a moment, but we can be using the chair or a wall, a table, anything that's nearby that you can help support your body for a couple of poses. You know I like to do tree pose, and so we're going to be holding tree pose. This is just a little insight here of what we're going to be doing later. But we're going to be holding tree pose, and rather than just trying to balance on your own, feel free to hold on to something, a wall, a banister, the side of a chair, okay? So we're going to have the chair. I'm just going to move mine out of the way for a moment. Just like that. That should do it. And then maybe a couple of yoga blocks, pillows, blankets, anything like that that can help you support your body in your postures. We will be moving, but we're going to be holding some poses, and so it might be helpful to have some extra items like some blocks, a blanket, a pillow even, to help support your body. Grab some bottled water, roll out your yoga mat, and we're ready to start. So let's first start in mountain pose. So I invite you to stand nice and tall near the top of your mat, perhaps with your feet about hip distance apart and your toes pointing forward. We'll just hold here for a few moments just so you can establish a strong connection, good alignment in your body, primarily from the waistline down to your feet, and just have that awareness. But you're welcome to change this if you like, because we're going to be holding this for a moment, because it might feel a little bit more comfortable and easy on the body if you just step out a little bit and even turn your feet outward a little bit. I know for me, this feels a little bit more solid and balanced and easier to stand in. There's an even distribution of weight from left to right. I want to feel rooted into the ground. From there, nice and tall, lengthen legs, all the way through the torso, lengthen spine, and even just roll the shoulders back gently and let them come down, and let your arms relax. Hands just right here down by your side. Just take a gaze forward. You might be looking straight ahead, you might be looking down at the floor, which is perfect, or you might even close your eyes or just soften your eyes as you begin your journey inward. As we make this connection, we tune into breath. A reminder that breath is the foundation of your practice. We're going to rely heavily on the breathing as we practice today. We'll be moving, we'll be flowing, and the breath certainly helps us to move our bodies, but the breath also helps us to be still, silent, in the moment. If you're just breathing in a way where you can hear your breath and feel your breath, it takes your full attention and it keeps you fully present. And that's what we're doing now. Arriving here in the moment. Slow, steady breaths in and out. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths in and out. In the theme of our practice, we're going to start very simply. First, go ahead and inhale and extend your arms out, then all the way up into the air. A nice reaching sensation. Then exhale, just sweep your arms back down by your side. That's all we're doing. Let's do that a few more times together. Inhale, extend your arms out, an effort of reaching across the room, reaching into the air, full stretch. Exhale, arms down by your side. Let's just continue that a few more times. As you inhale and take the arms up into the air, you might even feel a lengthening through the sides of your body as well as your spine, some nice energy in your shoulders. And then as you exhale, arms just come down to a relaxed place down by your side. Let's just go 2 more times with this. Reaching up as you inhale, exhale, arms back down, And one last time. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale. Good. Just return to stillness. Hold here for a moment. Take a couple of breaths. We can think of when we come to stillness, whether in mountain pose or any pose that we hold today, as a way of kind of coming home, a settling place, somewhere that's comfortable, easy, relaxed. All right, let's start our half salute to the sun. So still facing the front of the mat. Inhale, extend your arms into the air, reach high. Exhale, slowly fold forward, a good hinge at the hips, put a good bend in your knees. Take your time. That's another thing that we'll do in our practice today. We'll just move slowly. So you don't have to go too quickly here. Come all the way down, or just to a place where you feel good. If you'd like to touch your toes, just bend your knees a whole lot, let your back round, and once we're here, just let your head hang heavily forward. Sometimes I call this ragdoll, so even take on the quality of a ragdoll. You can feel kind of loose. Go ahead and shake your shoulders, shake your head a little bit to ensure you have that looseness in your head, neck, and shoulders. We're going to inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, knees, or thighs to extend your spine. Long, flat back like a table right here. This is half forward fold. Then exhale back down to a forward fold. Let's hold here. We'll do that 2 more times in a moment. Just continue to feel the sensation of folding, bend in the knees, maybe a stretch sensation down through the backs of your legs. Feel gravity draw down through the crown of your head, moving you to the floor. Here we go. Inhale, slide hands up the legs, extending spine, long, flat back. Exhale, fold. Feel the nice release in the low back as the back rounds. Feel heavy. And one more time. Inhale, sliding hands up the legs. Just help extend the spine. It's okay if you're not parallel to the floor. Exhale, back down. Let's get ready to stand. From here, shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down into a low chair. Look forward and slightly up. This will start to re-extend your spine. Extend your arms out to the side. Meanwhile, drive your heels into the floor. Straighten your legs, long torso. Reach all the way up into the air. Then exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Back to mountain pose. Just hold here in stillness once again. Mountain pose, returning to that home base. Find your breath. All right, let's continue. Sun Salute Series A. Take your time. Let's inhale, slowly float your arms up into the air. You might even look up. Exhale, spread your wings, slowly fold forward, hinging at the hips, bend your knees, round your spine, all the way down. Hands come down, head comes down. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to extend your spine, half forward fold. As you exhale, fold, bend, round the back. Bring your hands to the floor and just take your time and just step both feet back. Keep walking until both feet are at the back end of your mat, until you form a long straight line in your body. Plank pose. Let's breathe in. On this exhale, we're going to take a shortcut. Just bend your knees a little, send your hips up into the air, and we'll be in downward facing dog. We're going to hold here, make some adjustments. You might tiptoe forward a little bit. I like to take my hands a little wider on my mat so my shoulders and neck have a little bit more space. You might even spread out your fingers. Press hands firmly into the floor. Feel an energy in your arms rising right up to your shoulders and upper back. Knees can stay soft here. When the knees are bent, it allows a little bit more mobility in the hips. And you can probably lift your hips up a little higher while hands press strongly into the ground, elongating more through your torso. As the hands stay still on the mat, let's move the feet, pedal the feet. Press one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then alternate. Take your time with this. We're getting a wonderful stretch through the calf muscles as the heels root down towards the ground. When the heel lifts, you might even feel this through your toes. Just alternate. Let the knees bend. They can bend a whole lot. Your hips might even shift side to side. Taking our time.
Now this is a pretty powerful pose because we are upside down, we are relying on arm strength. If you need to rest, you can always just bring your knees to the floor. Even sit back into child's pose if you like. Okay, if you're still pedaling your feet, let's just do it one more time on each foot. Come back to center, down dog. Take a nice full breath in, look at the space between your hands, and just take a walk right up to the top of the mat with both feet, coming to a forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway or extend your spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale to reverse your swan dive so we can come all the way back up to standing, reaching into the air, full stretch. Exhale, arms back down by your side. Very nice. So again, we're just going to take our time, move slowly through our poses. We might even modify some postures. In poses like downward facing dog, for example, if that feels like you get tired, go ahead and rest, come out of the pose, and then return when you're ready. All right, that was Series A. Let's go on to Series B. Whenever you're ready, go at your own pace. Inhale, reaching up, take your time. Exhale, swan dive forward. When we move slowly, we get to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in our bodies and even in our minds. What are we thinking about here? Inhale, let's rise up halfway or fully extend the spine. As we exhale, bend your knees, let your back round, go heavy, bring your hands to the mat, and once again, just step both of your feet back into plank pose, that long straight line. Hold here for a moment. Now we're going to modify this next movement. Gently set both knees onto the ground. You can stay on your toes back there or elongate through the feet. Inhale, just keep pushing into the floor with your hands. Exhale, bend elbows, squeeze elbows in towards center, and just lower your chest all the way down to the ground. Now, if you're like me, your shoulders might be dipping towards the floor. If that's the case, roll the shoulders away from the floor, lift a tiny bit, and even feel your shoulder blades squeeze together behind you. Spread out your fingers, grip the mat with your fingertips, push down a little bit to lift a little bit, grip the mat with your fingers and pull forward. Do that one more time. Push to lift slightly, grip to pull forward. Point your toes. That's all we're doing. We'll call this low cobra or locust pose. Breathe in. When you exhale, push into the floor. Press back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Lift knees and hips into the air, down dog. Make your adjustments. Adjust your feet. Adjust your hands. Hold for a couple breaths so you can feel yourself arrive in this inverted position. We're going to continue with our lunge series. When you're ready, inhale, extend right leg up. Take your time. Reach up, reach back through your toes. Exhale, let's step through. You're bending the knees, shifting your body forward, and if you can, land with this foot up near right hand. Go ahead and turn left heel to the floor behind you. I like to rise up to fingertips here. Start to scoot or shift my weight back so I feel well pressured in that back foot on the ground. So there's an even distribution of weight, balance, and structure. Extending torso out over right thigh. And we're going to inhale, rise up, Warrior One. We're going to hold Warrior One. Now we can hold Warrior One like this with arms straight up. You can certainly bend the elbows. You can see how much I'm bending my elbows here. Just facing forward. Breathing. Just allowing the things that will naturally occur in this pose. It's a lunge, and because of this back leg turned as it is, we get a little stretch sensation through the left hip flexor, top of the thigh, belt line, even just above it a little bit. Breathe in, shoot the arms straight up. Exhale, fold, hinge, make your way down to the ground. Plant the hands. Let's step back into plank pose. Same thing, you're going to slowly and gently set the knees down. Elongate through the feet. Inhale, push into the floor to straighten the arms. Exhale, bend elbows to lower yourself all the way down to the ground. All the way down. Roll shoulders away from the floor, lift a little bit, squeeze shoulder blades together. Spread out your fingers, press palms into the ground, grip the mat, pull. Push to lift slightly, grip to pull slightly. Stay there. Point your toes, reach through your toes to the back of the room, low cobra or locust. Breathe in. Exhale, push back to hands and knees. Tuck toes to lift knees, then hips into downward facing dog. Make your adjustments and arrive. Inhale, extend left leg up into the air. You really don't have to lift it high. When you exhale, bend the left knee, bring it forward, hinging forward or shifting forward so you can step and land near the top of the mat. My toes are right behind the wrist. Pivot, right heel to the floor, rise up to fingertips so you can send some of the weight back into that back foot. Then elongate your torso out over left thigh. Inhale, let's rise up. Reach up into the air, face forward, straight arms. And when you exhale, you can lunge a little deeper and bend the elbows slightly so you can just hold this pose comfortably. Breathing. This is one of those poses that we hold, return to breath. You can even think of this posture as a home base, a place to come back to breath, the primary function of movement in our Vinyasa flow practice. Let's inhale and extend the arms straight up. Exhale, hinge slowly, fold, bring the hands back down to the floor. Go ahead and step back into plank pose. Just gonna do the exact same thing. I'm just gonna take it a little quicker. Just bring knees down, lengthen the feet. Inhale, press into the floor with straight arms. Exhale, bend elbows, lower your way down. Roll shoulders back, lift up slightly, pull forward slightly, point toes, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, pushing the hands and knees first, then tuck toes, lift knees, then hips, adjust feet and hands, down dog, hold. We're going to go down to the floor. We're going to gently, and once again, bring knees to the floor. Sit back briefly into hero pose. Well, I said briefly, but let's see if we can hold this a little bit longer. Now, if you can't hold or do not want to hold this pose too long, because this can be an added pressure in the knee area and certainly down in the ankle area, you can always just sit on the floor, okay? Maybe just sit with the legs in front, cross legs. But if you're able, just hold this hero pose for a few more breaths. Again, another home base, just nice and tall. If you can, breathe 3 to 5 more times. After the third or fifth breath, whatever you get to, coming out of hero pose, just take a seat, swing the legs around to the front. If you can, sit in the center of your mat. We're going to lie down, but you'll want some blocks or some books, something stackable. Hopefully you have something like that nearby, because we're going to use them for our bridge pose. Lie down. You're going to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground like so. Let's hold here for a moment before we get into the posture, allowing your whole back to lengthen and relax completely into the ground. Just as you did in mountain pose, just be aware of your feet touching the ground here. Take a few breaths, another home base. Want to feel relaxed, safe, and calm. Let's get ready to move. All right, make sure you can grab your blocks, 1 or 2. Full inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, empty your belly. You can even breathe out through your mouth if you'd like. And as you approach the end of that exhale, lift hips into the air, grab your blocks, slide them underneath you, and sit on the blocks. That way we don't have to keep ourselves lifted. You can just sit in this mild back bend. Now for me, I like to take my feet a little wider. It just creates a little bit more space in my low back, in my hips, and it just feels good. And the arms can just lay flat on the ground here. If you want to feel a little bit more of this opened upper body, what you could do is get your shoulders a little bit underneath you. Even bend the elbows 90 degrees where your fingers are reaching for the ceiling. And with some pressure, some effort, just push into the ground with the arms. It doesn't have to be too strong. Just to feel kind of this expansiveness in the upper body. So we just took our bridge pose, gave it some support, so that we can hold this for a little bit longer than usual. See if you can ease into the posture. Noticing the sensations within you. Even just focusing on your breath. Take 3 more breaths, holding in stillness. Nice. Ready to move? Just press your feet into the ground so you can lift your hips off of your blocks. Let's slide those blocks out from underneath. Go ahead and roll your way down to the ground. Let's extend the body here. Extend the legs out front. Reach your arms behind you, and just a nice extension, a good stretch right here. Then bring both knees into chest. Start to rock gently forward and back. With a good exhale, rock your way up to seated. We're going to come to boat pose. We're going to do a variation of boat, which I really like, because it, again, allows us to sit into the posture longer. Let's keep the knees bent, heels on the ground, flex the feet so they stay active. Hold onto the backs of the legs or just underneath the knees here. Use that as a way to sit up nice and tall. Imagine you're up against a wall or in a high back chair. So you're nice and tall just like this. Take a breath in, feel taller. Exhale, engage your belly, and imagine you're in a lazy boy reclining chair. You just pulled the lever and you're leaning back. Maybe just a little bit. You don't have to go back too far. Just at an angle. Make sure the spine stays straight, long torso, and just hold. Inhale to get more length in the torso. Breathe in to fill up the lungs. Exhale, engage belly. Just hold on and just notice that you probably can hold this a little bit longer than in the more traditional way when we lift the feet into the air. Is there a way to remain calm and relaxed and at ease in this pose? 2 more breaths. Rising up, you can cross legs, hands in front, step back into plank pose. Or just swing the legs back behind you until you arrive in plank pose. Let's take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, hips into the air, make your adjustments. Let's go through our flow, our lunge sequence, adding on just a little bit. Let's inhale, extend right leg up. Take it slowly. Reach long. Take your time. Exhale, let's step the right foot to the top of the mat or near right hand. Left heel turns to the floor. Just pay attention to your body in motion. Rise to fingertips so you can extend your torso out over right thigh. Once you're there, inhale, rise up, warrior 1. Reaching into the sky. When you exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room, bringing your arms down to parallel, right there. Now, I like to make an adjustment here. You might need to adjust the feet a little bit, just maybe this back foot so there's nice alignment. I like to take mine wider so I can lunge a little deeper so I can get a nice stretch in my right inner thigh. Arms relaxed. I'm sorry, arms extended. I was thinking relaxed. But you can relax them a little bit. Let's try this. Turn your palms up, bend elbows here. That's all. Just kind of a slight modification in our warrior 2 pose. In a way, you're kind of forming a W shape with your arms, with your body, your hand, your head, and the other arm. Go ahead and re-extend the arms. Reach out with the right. Rotate the arms. Right arm comes down, left hand reaching up. This also could be modified. Your hand can rest right on the thigh, not your knee, right here on your thigh, because it's more strong right there. Or you can rest your arm if you want to go a little lower. I'm just going to place my hand here. But a good reaching sensation with the left hand up into the air. Not too much pressure on the leg. You want to have this lightness in the body. So less strain down here, a lightness that's lifting you. Okay, breathe in. Exhale, let's carefully turn, facing the floor, bend, fold, come down, plant the hands. Let's slide right foot back, plank pose. Take a moment to realign the body in a straight line. Take a shortcut to down dog, bend your knees, lift your hips into the air. Inhale, extend left leg up. Exhale, step slowly through, left foot landing near top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor. Rise to fingertips to help extend spine up over the leg. Inhale, rise up, reach up into the air. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room. Adjust your feet. Make those steps necessary to find balance and security, even widening the stance if you'd like.
Let's start with straight extended arms. Let's turn it into our warrior W arms by bending elbows. That might even help to relax the neck and shoulders. It won't get us tired. Settling into the pose. As we hold this, just do a quick body scan. You might even start with your feet. Feel the pressure of the feet into the ground, the nice bend in the left knee, opening through that left inner thigh. Strong straight right leg, long torso, bent elbows, long neck. Good. Let's re-extend the arms, warrior two. Side angle pose, reach out, angled upper body, rotate the arms, left hand down, right hand up. I'm going to do the same thing by placing my left hand on mid-leg, mid-thigh right here. Keeping that lightness in the body, reaching up into the sky. Check in with your breathing. How do you feel here? Yes, we are in motion. We're also holding poses. Sometimes holding poses can be a little tiring. Okay, and it certainly takes a little bit more effort sometimes rather than just flowing right through a pose. Okay, let's move. Breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn, facing the floor, bending. Bring the hands down to the ground. And then step back into plank pose. Another shortcut. Downward facing dog. Hold for 5 breaths. Take your time. You can stay in stillness or go back to pedaling the feet. After your 5th breath, look at the space up between your hands. Take a walk up into that space until you're in forward fold. Inhale, sliding hands up the legs to help you extend your spine. Exhale, fold again. Shifting your weight into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, feel the extended spine. Spread your wings, inhale it, stand up nice and tall. Reach all the way up. Reach a little higher if you can. And exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Nice. Good job. All right, we're just taking our time, taking it easy today. All right, so now we're going to move into that tree pose I talked about earlier, where you may want to have something like a chair. I'm just going to bring my chair in. Actually, I'm going to move my mat so I can bring my chair in a little closer so it's in camera. So you can just hold on to it, okay? So you can hold your balancing pose a little longer. So let's just start in our mountain pose. You can even have a hand on the table, wall, chair, whatever you've got there, or even just down by your side for a moment. I'm going to try to mirror you, so I'm going to try not to get my left and right mixed up. So first, solid feet on the ground. Start shifting your weight into right foot. Press into the ground. Feel the energy in that right leg. And then grow tall through the spine as you inhale. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. This is where you might want to touch the wall. So you can peel the left foot up off the floor. Bring in the knee up high enough so your thigh is parallel to the ground. Flex your foot. It just keeps the leg energized here. Hold that for a couple seconds. Just notice this sensation. We still got everything nicely aligned. The pelvis, the hips just kind of in the same place. All you did was lift the knee. Here's where things change. Swing that left knee out to the left side of the room. That opens the hip here. Place the foot on the inside of your standing leg. Now that can be at calf level. That's where I typically go below the knee. You can slide it up higher above the knee along inner thigh, or even down all the way towards the ground like this, where your toes actually touch the ground, just to modify the hip opener. I'm going to keep it here. With this right arm, you can go ahead and take it up into the air, reach with a straight arm, and then maybe bend elbow, just to help relax the shoulder and neck. And of course, the left hand is just on your support, the chair, table, wall. Let's see if we can just hold this for a few more breaths. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. How you doing? Let's keep the arms where they are. Let's start with the legs. So turn the left knee forward. Lift the knee with the flexed foot into the thighs parallel to the ground. Slowly plant the foot back into the ground. And go ahead and bring both arms down by your side. Take a moment to roll the shoulders. Circles. Roll them backward. Roll them forward. Good. All right, so we're going to do the other side. Since I'm near a door, I'm just going to slide over here, and I can use this doorway as my support. So whenever you're ready, first just find your mountain pose. Take your time, start shifting weight into left foot, root down strongly into the ground. As you inhale, feel very tall in your torso, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage core. Find your base or your support with the right hand. Let's peel the right foot up off the floor, lifting the knee until the thigh is parallel to the ground. Flex your foot. Everything's still neutral here, but then we open up the hip by swinging the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. It could be high, middle, or low. We got the support of the wall or chair or banister. We'll go ahead and take the left arm out and up as you inhale. Reach straight up. When you exhale, you can just bend the elbow just to help relax the shoulder and neck. Settle into the posture. Still feel long in the torso. Yes, even though you've got the support of the wall or table, be aware if you're sinking, because it's easy to kind of relax here. There's still some action of lifting, rooting this left foot into the ground, lengthening through your torso, and energy through the crown of your head, even through this extended free hand. You just have the added support so that you can hold the pose a little longer. Three more breaths. Let's keep the arms as they are. We'll swing the right knee forward, lifting the knee with the flexed foot, thigh parallel to the ground. Plant the foot into the ground, and then bring your arms down by your side. Once again, just go ahead and roll your shoulders. Some circles. Take them backward. Take them forward. Let's get into the elbow joints. Just those circles here. You can go out and in. And then the same with the wrists. Wiggle your fingers. Just getting into the joints a little bit. Very nice. All right, I'm just going to move my chair out of the way. Let's return to mountain pose and make our way back down to the ground. And of course, we'll take our time. Here's our home base. Take a breath. Inhale, sweep your arms up into the air. You might even look up. Exhale, lead with your heart. Fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to, slowly making your way down. Inhale, extend your spine, rising up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, let your back round, bring your hands to the floor, and then walk both of your feet back. Take your time into plank pose. Let's do our modified Chaturanga Dandasana. Let's set the knees down, lengthen the feet. Inhale to energize the arms. Exhale, bend elbows, lower your chest to the ground. Once you're down, roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest a little bit, feel like you're dragging yourself forward. Inhale right there. And exhale, push back gently, slowly, downward facing dog. Let's go through a flow here. Take your time. Inhale, lift right foot, extend right leg back, reaching long. Take your time. Exhale, let's step through. Right foot to the top of the mat, landing. Once you've landed, turn left heel to the floor, added pressure or balanced body right here. Lengthen torso out over right thigh. Then inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, opening to warrior two. Quickly make your adjustments. We're going to move right away into side angle. Reach out, rotate the arms. Hand or arm can be on the leg here. Let's do a little extra stretch by taking left arm overhead. Reach, a little bit extra stretch to the left side of the body, but we are going to keep on moving. Let's breathe in from here. Exhale, carefully turn towards the floor. Bend, bring hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Modified Chaturanga, knees down first, flatten the feet. Inhale, strong arms. Exhale, bend elbows, lower chest down. Roll shoulders away from the ground. Inhale, press just to lift a little. Feel like you're dragging forward. We do that so we don't pinch the low back. Then exhale, hands and knees, and then downward facing dog. Arrive. Take a breath. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up. Exhale, take your time to step through, landing left hand
left foot near left hand. Right heel turns to the floor, shifting weight back to find that balance. Extend torso out over left thigh. Inhale, rise up, Warrior One, reaching into the air. Exhale, opening to Warrior Two. Quick adjustments. Right away into side angle. Reach forward, angle, rotate the arms. Continue reaching overhead with the right arm, like this. So you feel that lengthening down through the right side of your body. Take a breath in, and we'll exhale, carefully turn, hands back down to the floor, step back plank pose. Modified, so knees down, inhale strong arms, exhale bend elbows lower, roll shoulders back, inhale slight lift and pull forward. Exhale, come to hands and knees, stay in hands and knees, take the knees wide here, and then sit back into child's pose. Now for child's pose, I like to bring in a block or a pillow to rest my forehead, right here. Now you may be able to bring the head all the way down to the ground, but you can always modify that. The hands or arms can extend outward. Just your hands may be touching the ground, or you can even soften this, which I'm going to do here, letting the elbows bend and rest on the floor. So I can really settle into this pose, because we're going to hold here. Return to your breath. You can look directly down at the ground, so eyes can be opened, or just close your eyes. Either way, it's a nice inward moment, because even if you're looking at the floor, you really aren't distracted by the things around you. Allow the breath to keep you in the moment. Just focus on the sound and feeling of your breath in child's pose. Take 3 more breaths. Slowly rising out of your child's pose, coming back up to hands and knees. If you took the knees wide, you might want to bring them in a little bit so they're aligned directly underneath your hips. I'm just going to move my block out of the way. I'm also going to adjust my mat here. Still on hands and knees, let's take cat and cow pose. So we'll inhale, look up or forward, arching the back slightly, a little back bend feel. Exhale, round it out. There's our cat pose. So we're rounding in the spine. Belly button pulls up towards spine, chin to chest. And just flow through these 2 poses. Go at your own pace. So if I'm going a little faster than you or slower than you, that's okay. Moving to the rhythm of your own breath. Even feel free to move a little bit more intuitively here, so you don't have to stay strictly with the cat and cow. If it feels good to circle the hips or move the hips around, do that. You can even return to child's pose. You can even try this twist, which I'm going to do here. Taking one arm and threading underneath or behind the other. We'll just call this thread the needle for a little twist in the spine where you might hold. So I'm doing my right arm, reaching through, bringing that arm and shoulder all the way down to the ground, while the left hand stays planted into the ground. I can feel that nice stretch and pull. It feels good through the muscles of the back. To get out of the pose, just press that palm into the floor, lift, unwind, come back to neutral and hands and knees, and you can do the other side. So maybe you're following me in this little segment here, or you're still just moving through cat and cow or any other intuitive movements. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths wherever you are. Come Come back to stillness on hands and knees, and we'll set up for downward facing dog. Now, if your hands or wrists happen to be directly underneath your shoulders, you may want to step your hands forward a little bit. Then tuck your toes. With an exhale, lift your knees, then hips into down dog, and that might put you in the perfect downward facing dog posture without too much of adjusting. All right, listen carefully. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up behind, reach long, hold there for a moment so you can really extend, and then bend the right knee. Bring your heel down toward your backside as if you're going to kick yourself there, and then feel the right knee lift up towards the ceiling. It won't lift high, it doesn't need to lift high, but what it does, it opens the hip a little bit and puts a little rotation in the spine. Take a breath in right here. When we exhale, we're going to unwind, bring the right knee to the ground behind right wrist and angle the right leg. We're going to pigeon pose. So we've brought the knee down, angled the leg so the right foot's kind of pointing off to the left side. Go ahead and set the left knee onto the floor back there and use your left knee and toes. You see how I'm kind of scooting back? So just scoot that leg back, which moves the whole body back until you feel settled into this hip opener. You don't have to go down too far. Now, you probably can't tell, but I'm really far away from the floor. I'm not near touching or sitting on the ground. What you could do is take a pillow or some stacked blocks and tuck it underneath that right cheek to help support. If you've got a lifted hip right there, which is what I'm doing, you can stay on your hands, but you can make this a little bit more restful by coming down to your elbows, lowering your head, either all the way to the floor or a block, or stack your fists like this and just rest your forehead here. I'm going to do that for now. And we're going to hold in pigeon for a few breaths. So another great pose that we can easily hold for a long period of time, getting into our hips. Another downward facing position, meaning your gaze, if you opened your eyes, you're looking right at the ground, which gives us another opportunity to move inside of self, pay attention to what's going on inside, allowing the things that are going on outside of you to remain outside. These can be healing moments, processing moments. Since we are moving inward, it really, gives us that time to do some work. Go through those wandering thoughts, those random thoughts, those conscious thoughts and feelings. Are they useful to you? If so, maybe you want to hold on to them. If not, maybe it's time to brush them aside. You can do that with a nice exhale. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Just slowly come up a little bit, just up onto the hands. If you're sitting on a block, let's move that block out of the way for a moment, and then just sit over onto the right side. All that weight and pressure on the right side. So you can actually bring this left leg around to the front, facing forward. You may want to adjust yourself on your seat here. Go to Cobbler's pose or bound angle, where the soles of your feet touch, like this, and you create another hip opener. I like doing this sometimes between the two sides of pigeon pose, just to help realign the body. And what you can do is just sit up nice and tall. You could hinge forward a little bit, get back into that hip opener, but we're going to be doing pigeon pose again on the other side, so you don't have to be too aggressive with the forward fold. Just treat it as a way to realign the body before getting to the other side. Just go ahead and take 2 more breaths. If you are hinging forward, come back up until you're nice and straight, nice and tall for a second. Maintain that good length. Start to lean back into the lazy boy reclining chair. Yes, we're going back to boat. Bring the knees together. Step the feet forward, heels stay on the ground, flexed feet, hold on underneath the bent knees. Inhale, just help extend the spine at this angle. Exhale, hold. 2 breaths, that's all.
Just return to this core engaging posture. This is how we'll get out of this one. We'll make it easy. So release, lean to one side so you can swing the legs back around you. Make your way back to hands and knees. Doesn't have to be too fancy or graceful at all. Don't worry about it. And then make your way to downward facing dog. Arrive. Take a breath or two. So that's our hip opening sequence. We're going to start the left side in a moment. Pigeon. So let's inhale, extend left leg up into the air, long straight line. Keep it reaching, hands pressing into the floor. Then we'll bend the left knee, bring heel down towards backside. Lift the knee slightly. Feel that slight rotation in the spine as well as the hip opener. It's very active in nature, isn't it? We'll breathe in. Exhale to unwind. We're bringing the left knee forward. Bring the left knee down to the floor behind left wrist. Angle the leg. Set the right knee down as well. Use the right knee and toes to help shift the body back so you're settling into this hip opener. Again, you don't have to touch the ground. Use a pillow or a set of blocks here to keep the hips lifted and even. And then maybe step the hands and arms forward. Lower your way down to your elbows. Bring forehead down to the floor. Stacked fists, a pillow, or a block. This time I'm using the block. And just as before, we're just going to settle into the posture to do our internal work. And doing the work doesn't necessarily mean you have to be actively thinking of things and bringing them to mind and try to solve problems. You could do that, but you can make it more simple. And that is just pay attention to your breath. Some of the things that we have to process doesn't take rational thinking. It might even take other systems in our body that we really can't explain. More on an unconscious and even subconscious level. All we really need to do is just come to stillness and really allow that process to work on its own. Its fuel is you just coming to stillness and being relaxed and calm rather than tense and distracted. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Take your time, move slowly. Starting to rise, coming back up onto your hands. If you feel like you're kind of low, you might want to tuck your toes behind you. Shift your weight forward a little bit so you can lift up. Move your props out of the way. Sit over onto the left side now. Bring the right leg around. Adjust your body. Bound angle or cobbler's pose. Realigning, just sitting up nice and tall here. Extended spine, maybe a slight hinge. Not too much. Just a rebalancing here. And just 2 more breaths. From here, we're just going to make our way back down to the ground. I'm just adjusting my mat one more time. Find the center of your mat and carefully guide your way down. When I lie down initially, I like to keep the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. It just feels good on my spine, my low back, my hips. You can do the same or even extend the legs out onto the floor as if you were in Shavasana, but we're not quite at the end of practice yet, but just at a resting moment. Alrighty, we're going to extend the left leg out onto the floor, if it's not already. Extend the left leg. You can even relax the left leg And then draw right knee into chest. Just hold on to the knee or shin with your hands. You can stay just like this for the hip open, or even just take it out to the side a little bit and feel like you're sending your knee up towards shoulder. You can do that for your hip opener, or go to what I call half happy baby pose, where you hold on to the bottom of the right foot with the right hand. The foot is facing the ceiling. Gently press downward so the knee feels like it's coming down towards the ground on the outside of your body. Now, I'm not forcing this at all. It just feels kind of natural. Just the weight of the body kind of doing its thing. And what's nice about doing half happy baby pose is that you can kind of get into the hip opener a little deeper. We're going to add a pose here. Keep hold of the right foot or shin, whatever you're doing for that hip opener. Just keep it where it is. Now, with the left leg, bend the left knee, place the left foot on the floor. Now, cross this right ankle over a left knee or thigh like this. So the right foot is going to be pointing towards the left side of the room. You're kind of drawing like the number 4 with this crossed leg. So your right knee is pointing to the right side of the room. We're going to thread the needle or reclining pigeon pose. Just by crossing the leg, you might feel something here in the hips, but if not, you might want to lift the left foot up off the floor, bringing both legs towards yourself. You can thread the needle, take your right hand and arm, thread it through that space between the legs, and hold on to your left shin or left hamstring. And just hold that. To keep this right leg that's crossed kind of steady, maybe flex the right foot. You can even flex the left foot. It just stabilizes the legs a little bit more. Not too long here, since we've already gotten into our hips a little bit. About 2 more breaths. It's a nice alternative to pigeon pose as well. All right, let's go ahead and set the left foot down, uncross the legs, plant both feet onto the ground, or extend both legs, either one. Just soften, realign, balance. When you're ready, go ahead and extend the right leg. Hug the left knee in. Send it to the left side a little bit so the left knee is moving back towards left shoulder a little bit. Hold it just like this for your half happy baby pose. Or grab hold of the bottom of the foot with the hand, take it up towards ceiling. Keep the knee bent, press down gently, left knee moving towards the floor. Not too forceful here. Just with the leg out like this, there's just kind of a natural heaviness, and that heaviness kind of gets into that stretch. Two more breaths as we now prepare for our reclining pigeon pose, or thread the needle, or eye of the needle. It's called eye of the needle pose. Okay, keep the left leg where it is, bend the right knee, place the foot on the ground. Cross left ankle over right thigh. Pause just to check in to see if this feels okay. If you need more sensation, pick up the right foot from the floor, draw the legs towards yourself, thread the needle with the left hand, hold on to right shin or hamstring, flex both feet, hold, and breathe. And again, we're not going to hold here too long. We're going to finish up in a moment. All right, let's go ahead and release. Bring the right foot down, uncross the leg, hold here. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor, soften and realign. Take a breath or two. We're going to finish with a quick twist to both sides. So once again, let's hug both knees into chest. Take both knees over to left side as you extend your right arm off to right side. Take 5 slow breaths here. Really take your time. Fill up your lungs. Sip in a little bit more breath. Then exhale. So your one breath takes quite a bit of time. time on breath number 4, taking very slow breaths here. When you are complete with your 5th breath, return to center. Pause in center, again realigning, and then take knees over to the other side. Once you're settled into the spinal twist, same thing. 5 slow, very slow, deep breaths. Mindful of the relaxed state of mind and body. Maybe you're able to experience that throughout this hour-long practice. Taking it easy today. Sometimes we just really need that. Sometimes we're running at a mile a minute. Just need to slow down. When you're complete with your 5th breath on this last side, come back up to center. Pause for a quick second, and then extend both legs out in front of you, moving into Shavasana for the remaining minutes of our practice. Find a comfortable position. If that means using some props like pillows or blankets, use them. Settle in. The full weight of the body just melting into the ground. In the interest of time, we're not going to be here too long, but even as I end this practice, you're welcome to stay just as you are, so you can really take advantage of this relaxing moment. Keep your mind steady on your breath. Eyes can remain open and just look up and beyond the ceiling. Or close your eyes and go inside. Letting the natural processes of your mind work to solve problems, to release tensions, anxieties, fears. Remember, stay here as long as you need to. Whenever you do feel it's time to move, just as we did throughout this practice, take your time. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Sometime after that 5th breath, move in slow motion. Roll to either side of your body to a nurturing pose. Moving slowly, guide your way up to a seated position. Sitting on a pillow or a blanket. Nicely lengthen through your spine. Nice and tall. Relax shoulders, arms, and hands. Take a breath. And one final movement together. Inhale, extend your arms all the way up. Reach high. When you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Come back to stillness. Notice your breath. Take a breath. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow, saying, Namaste.